Good evening. You're watching Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan and we're coming to you live tonight from Chandni Chowk, one of the key battleground seats here in Delhi. A keen contest between Kapil Sibal, Union Minister, Dr. Harshvardhan of the BJP and Ashutosh, journalist turned politician from the Aam Aadmi Party. The elections here in Delhi are critical for many reasons. The question we're asking is whether the Aam Aadmi Party is going to be able to make the same kind of impact that it did in the assembly polls, or whether it has lost steam and made many self-goals since then. That's a question that is important not just for Delhi but for the entire country as well, since the AAP has decided to contest a very large number of seats. But first tonight, let's bring you the picture from the voting in Delhi. The key contests in the 7 Lok Sabha seats that people voted for today. Overall, 91 constituencies voted today across the country in the third phase of polling. But it's the national capital that's been watched very closely.
Some of the biggest political players in the country putting their money where their mouth is. Many of them in the New Delhi constituency, which has a record 29 candidates, and where the contest is mainly among the Congress's Ajay Makhan, the BJP's Meenakshi Lekhi and Aam Aadmi Party's Ashish Khaitan.
I think most of the voters which had gone away from the Congress party, they've all come back.
Still recovering from voting in a rank newcomer as Chief Minister and then seeing him quit just 49 days after making some swift policy changes in the capital and then seeing some of those decisions reversed, Delhi voters have a tough choice.
बिल्कुल स्टेबल गवर्नमेंट आएगी, स्थिर सरकार आज देश की जरूरत है.
दिल्ली में मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है. आज दिल्ली में चुनाव हो रहे हैं कि दिल्ली में सातों की सातों सीट आम आदमी जीतेगा, जनता जीतेगी, आम आदमी पार्टी जीतेगी.
उमंग है कि अब मेरा देश स्थिरता की तरफ जाए, स्टेबिलिटी की तरफ जाए, गवर्नेंस की तरफ जाए.
Other than New Delhi, Chandni Chowk is another big battle. Union Minister Kapil Sibal, hoping to score a hat-trick, is pitted against the Delhi BJP chief Harshvardhan and journalist turned AAP leader Ashutosh.
Why should there be anti-incumbency? It should be pro-incumbency. I've done a lot of work here. The AAP party was there in December, it's not there in April.
In East Delhi, Congress's MP Sandeep Dixit is facing off Mahatma Gandhi's grandson and Aam Aadmi Party candidate Raj Mohan Gandhi. Delhi, generally known for its voters' apathy to politics, seemed enthusiastic today about voting.
Security of women is a major problem. A lot of inflation is there.
National issue में जो मैं top priority देता हूँ वो corruption को देता हूँ. To be very honest with you, is the leader, not the party. You know what I feel? Because we don't know most of the candidates.
Whether or not Delhi voters will show the way to voters elsewhere, they were certainly shown the benefits of voting by nationalistic businesses in the city. There were discounts to be had on everything from food, petrol, salon treatments to gym packages for those who went out and voted. Bureau Report, NDTV.
The question we're really asking tonight is whether the Aam Aadmi Party will have the same kind of impact that it did in the assembly elections, or whether the AAP has actually made a number of self-goals since the state elections took place. A quick word though on the turnout, because the Election Commission has just held a press conference telling us about the voter turnout, which is very, very crucial, and it is an impressive 64% in Delhi. It may go up by another 1 or 2%, but it's not far from the figure, that amazing turnout that we saw in the assembly polls of 66%. So Delhi has come out impressively, and when you look at the comparison to 2009, the last general election, it was only 51%. That at that time. So from 51%, Delhi has gone up to 64%. And let me first take that question to Ashutosh, that are you finally relieved, relaxed, nervous? How do you feel now that, in a sense, your part is over?
Yeah, I was never tense throughout. I was a little bit concerned that how will I manage elections, because I didn't have the money, I didn't have that kind of resources which Kapil Sibal and Harshvardhan had. But I always knew that the people, that the Aam Aadmi, the volunteers are with me. The army of volunteers which I had, the kind of commitment they had shown, I think it is mind-blowing. In the modern politics where everything is bought and everything is paid, you have that kind of volunteer force. I think it was amazing experience, very amazing experience. And I must say this, that today I'm not feeling relieved, because I'm feeling a little bit, because I will be not regularly in touch with my team, which has been emotionally very connected to me. but that's a part of the game.
So you might miss the heat and dust of the day-to-day campaigning.
I'll miss my entire team, because on a daily basis, on 24 hours, I was in touch with them. They were in touch with me, and there was a lot of selfless people. I had not known them a month or so back. They just came and they just were with me like I knew them for years, something like that.
So what do you make of the 64% turnout? That's a pretty good turnout in a general election, so much higher than last time.
Awakening, the desire to vote, the desire to be a stakeholder in Indian democracy. And if you see of late, the vote percentage has gone up, not only in Delhi, but universally in India. And even it has gone up to 70% to 80%. So that's a very good sign for the Indian democracy.
So an awakening. Nalini Singh, do you see it as well? Is the Indian voter far more aware today than Indian voters have been in urban India, particularly in a place like Delhi, where we've seen an awakening, as Ashutosh said, even in the assembly elections? Whether or not that means a vote for AAP is a different thing, but a general, perhaps a sense that, no, we need to go out and cast our vote.
I think it is actually a sign of we will just not take status quo anymore, and we are going to bring in change, whatever that change is. We are not going to be stalled in our lives, and these opportunities have to be kick-started again. So I think it's much more that. I was looking at some of the figures that the Election Commission has given out for the 91 seats that went today, and it's very impressive. The numbers have surged. That's one. Now, of course, every party is going to say that, we are the ones, we are the classic ones who are going to take you to the skies, etc. But I think if you look at it, disappointingly, at the core, it has the parties, including the Aam Aadmi Party, I think, have looked at the demography in terms of caste distribution or religious distribution. So even Ashutosh, who's sitting here, why was he given a ticket from Chandni Chowk, if I may say? He's a Gupta, and there are lots of Guptas here. Harshvardhan ji is another one. So I would, therefore I'd say that, and maybe a Kapil Sibal, because there's a Punjabi group also over here. But I think the key question, if we're looking at the politics of just Chandni Chowk, and I think also of two other constituencies in Delhi, is did the Muslim vote get divided between Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress? Yeah. Or were they able to pull in all the consolidate and pull in all, which is why Ashutosh says that he's suffering from a post-traumatic stress disorder now after this, and he's missing all the...
So you're saying it's an awakening, and yet the politics in a sense is very old style, even by the AAP.
Yes, and I'm saying it's an awakening. It's saying that we will just not accept what has gone on. So you call that awakening?
Is it a vote for change?
I actually think that this surge in the percentage of polling comes from the youth. What has happened in this election is that there is this huge, massive youth force that has suddenly come in within the electoral gambit. And in the past, the youth would not vote. They would go out to ice cream parlors, they would go out for a picnic, they would go out for a movie, they would go out wherever, but they would not go out to vote. What has happened in the last 1 year and last 1.5, maybe 2 years, is that the youth has decided that they will vote. A lot of this, I think, is really due to the effort of the Election Commission, and I think we must give them credit where it's due. But what has happened, I think, is that the youth has come out, and what I have seen, the youth has come out in large numbers to vote. Now, whereas I agree with what Nalini says about this whole caste-based thing, I think our hope really lies in the youth, which is coming out to vote. If they come out to vote for Ashutosh, it is not because he is a Gupta. They are coming out to vote for Ashutosh because he's Aam. Or if they are voting for whatever. So I think this appeal, and a lot of parties, of course, the BJP and the Congress and AAP have realized that there is this large number of this huge force that has suddenly come
under
into
35, under 25 in
under
particular.
25. Yeah. And they have actually been appealing to them. And I'm so happy to say that their appeal, the Election Commission's appeal has worked.
Are you saying then that that turnout that we're seeing in Delhi in this general election is actually
the youth.
For AAP? The youth for AAP?
No, I would like to think, I would actually like to think it is for AAP. And I'm sure Ashutosh would like to think it is for AAP. But we can't be sure. It is certainly not for the Congress.
But you know, I think that's the only consensus, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the only consensus. I hope it is for AAP, because I think they are really the people who should win this city, but it may also be for the BJP.
But I mean, just a reality check, a 14% surge in actual voter turnout cannot be accounted for by the youth.
No.
So
primarily by the youth. Primarily by the youth.
I would also dispute that, because the youth vote is not that much.
Huge.
You know, it's not. It's huge in numbers.
There are single constituencies, and Nalini, there are some constituencies where they have added 1 lakh of votes.
But do you think it translates into votes for Ashutosh and his party?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. I think definitely
As
some
definitely
appeal has
certain
gone out.
Percentage, yes.
The appeal. But if they have been able to capture across all income classes, across all castes, across all religions, the youth's imagination that we are the ones who are going to now, kickstart your lives, and you will really go where you deserve to go. If they've done it, even other parties will go there.
On this question of what isn't changed for AAP, because the biggest criticism is that you had this wonderful mandate in December, and when Arvind resigned, you blew it in a sense and lost the momentum. How do you respond to that perception?
See, Nidhi, today I'm really aghast. Aghast for the simple reason because I dropped my surname in 1991, and it was on principles. But I didn't drop from the official records. When I decided to contest, I officially got my surname dropped. Nobody is discussing that. And the problem is that it's still old school, still looking at elections from the caste religion perspective. So Nalini still thinks that I was given a ticket because I was having a particular caste, a particular surname. I think that's a misnomer.
Colonel Sehrawat has been given a ticket exactly for these reasons.
I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt when you were speaking. I think the whole perspective has changed. The mindset has changed. I had interacted more than 75,000 in the last, and I'd personally spoken to them. They shook hands with me. Not a single youngster has asked my surname. Not a single. Older generations, 70, 60 years, they were more curious to know what is my surname. What I'm trying to tell you is the youngsters, they got into this politics for the simple reason because they're fed up with the way things are going.
I tend to agree with that.
They're very
a lot of people are fed up with this whole
with the kind of politics that's happening. They are more communicative, they are more argumentative, they are more confident than the older generation. They want themselves to be heard, and they want their presence to be fed, and they also want their pie in the power structure. And that is why they decided to be a voter and to cast their vote.
They are the same people also saying, why did Arvind Kejriwal run away from governance? Who wanted him to take this on head on and felt that he ran away from responsibility.
Who are these people who are saying this? Who are these people who are saying this? Yes, a section of the society is asking questions why Arvind resigned, not run away. Why Arvind has resigned.
I'm saying they say he ran away.
But it's partly a propaganda. Mostly it's a propaganda, because I'm amazed to know that the people are not asking questions who did 1.72 crores lakh scam. Arvind has been asked questions why you resign. It's a very silly thing in that sense. I'm saying this, that it is partly a propaganda. Secondly, we all have to understand that Arvind Kejriwal is not the one who wanted to stick with the chair with Fevicol. We all have to understand that. There may be a problem with the assessment. Maybe people are disappointed. He was doing a good job.
Why did
continue. Okay, before Dr. Harshvardhan also joining us shortly, and Abhishek Singhvi, let me just quickly get comments from Amir Raza Hussain and Nalini on that. That did the AAP in a sense blow it with Arvind's resignation, or is that just a perception in sections of the media?
My personal feeling is that in a country where a village pradhan does not leave his chair even after an election, the question should have been, if Arvind had not resigned, that why didn't Arvind resign when he had promised that he had resigned? But the question is, why did he resign? He's the bloody first chief minister in this country who has ever resigned on a principle. I cannot understand. We talk of Lal Bahadur Shastri resigning because of a railway accident, and after that no minister has taken responsibility. Here's a chief minister who after 49 days says, okay, yeah, I have not been able to fulfill my promise to the people because of what I thought would be the combination of the BJP and the Congress, and therefore I am giving up my chair.
So you're saying we would have criticized him anyway?
I'm saying the question should have been, if he had not resigned, I would have been very disappointed with him. Because he's resigned, I'm disappointed. अरे यार कमाल है. मेरे तो समझ में नहीं.
But Dr. Harshvardhan, there are many people like yourself who've accused the AAP of running away from responsibility, and while you have said that you feel Amir Hussain says it's that he ran away from the chair, so that gives it a different interpretation. But is there a danger that the AAP is again being underestimated in this general election, very much the way we did before the assembly poll? Maybe they surprise us again. Dr. Harshvardhan.
Nidhi ji, I can't sort of hear you properly. It's the voice is not very clear, but whatever I could understand was that you asked me that why did AAP run away or whatever. I think the Aam Aadmi Party, after 49 days, once they resigned, I think they could have shown the results. And they were not able to deliver all those promises that they made to the people, and they failed miserably, and they were thinking of reasons to run away from the responsibility, and they had some other agenda on their mind. And because you see, their agenda is not controlled by them, their agenda is controlled by some powers which are say outside this country also, and I have said it number of times and I repeat it in your program also.
Dr. Harshvardhan, you just said there's a foreign hand.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And this is not ridiculous. This is fact, sir. This is fact. This is not ridiculous. You can't call it ridiculous. There are ample evidences now in the system. And you can't call it ridiculous. There is no reason why you should have run away like this.
There are the signs of desperation in your camp, Mr. Harshvardhan. Please realize this.
You have not been able to explain all your lies that you have been making all these months, or so many lies every day.
My question really was whether there is a danger. Whether there is a danger, sir, of underestimating the AAP as well. There are a number of self-goals that they have scored. There is a certain momentum they seem to have lost. But is there a danger of underestimating them? Are they the underdogs?
No, there is no danger. I tell you, they have been exposed thoroughly before the nation. The people of this country have understood AAP very clearly. And if as soon as people will understand them, even 10, 20%, 30%, nobody would like to be with AAP for even 10 minutes. And I think the people have understood them quite well, and the election results in Delhi will show it amply, clearly to the rest of the nation. They will be reduced to zero level in the current parliamentary elections.
Ashutosh, because I want to ask you, is it not true
on the 16th of May?
Yes, I mean, of course, the 16th of May will determine everything. But Ashutosh, is it also not true that internally the AAP had a survey where you found that people who voted for AAP in the assembly polls may actually vote for the BJP when it comes to the parliamentary election, because the parliamentary election is a different ballgame.
Today I'm relaxed, and I'm very, very amused the kind of language which Dr. Harshvardhan is using. I think I had a good laugh at his expense, and I really enjoyed his statement, because he's not talking substance. What he's saying is it's a language of desperation. It's a language of disappointment. It's a language that he knows that he has lost it. And Dr. Harshvardhan should have a sense of history. In 1977, when Mrs. Gandhi was fighting
who are cheating the nation,
opposition.
This is the language for you people.
We're talking at the same time. Let Ashutosh finish. I'll come back to you.
The same language
you have cheated the nation quite.
And now Harshvardhan and the Narendra Modi want to use the same language. I think, do they think that the whole world is going to believe them? I think, Dr. Harshvardhan, I think now the election is over. You and I can sit and talk and have a nice chat. Please don't get into these kind of language, and please don't get into these kind of what. Only 16th May will tell you exactly how many seats AAP is going to win and how to
receive the facts before the nation. I am not using any foul language. I am only placing the facts, and whatever I am saying it on record.
Can you, Dr. Harshvardhan, I'm enjoying your language. I'm really very happy that you are using these kind of a language.
The whole nation has come to know about you people now. You cannot fool the nation anymore.
Pakistani agent. You want the whole world to believe that? You want the whole. Don't make yourself ridiculous, sir.
Let me
don't make yourself ridiculous, sir.
Okay, one second. We need to get this back on track, because Ashutosh, my question was, will people vote differently in a Lok Sabha election?
Yes.
Because look, at the end of the day, AAP is not, I'm sure you would agree, not a party that would be seriously able to
form
prop
the
up
government.
a third front or form a government, or be that sort of national level player. So therefore, the concern is, I believe even within your party, that people would have voted differently in a parliamentary election. That those who voted for AAP in the assembly may vote BJP.
Nidhi, let's not jump to the conclusion. Election is happening, electioneering is happening. Let the result come. If results will only tell whether the people are with us or not with us, how can we jump to the conclusion? How can
I think now that the Delhi election is over, and there definitely has been, even in the assembly election, people were very impressed. Narendra Modi supporters were very impressed with Arvind Kejriwal, and there was this buzz that in Delhi we will vote for Kejriwal.
Exactly.
But in
the
parliament we will vote for Modi. That buzz has gone down a little, but certainly there are areas who have believed that and who have voted for AAP in the assembly, and who have, not because of what Arvind has done, not because of resignation, who had already had a mindset that they will vote BJP in the parliamentary election. I think at least in Delhi, there has been a certain section of that population, and they have.
Okay, I just want to get Abhishek Singhvi of the Congress in, because Dr. Singhvi, how does is the Congress also going to be as dismissive of the AAP as a factor already? Or would you be a little more cautious than that, considering that I know that the opinion polls are not reflecting what the AAP is saying about its success, as they call it, in the rest of the country beyond Delhi. But would it be right to dismiss them right now?
Nidhi, first of all, while I can understand the AAP and the BJP being dismissive of the Congress from the inception, and repeating the blunders of 2004 and 2009, saying that the Congress has lost even before the contest has begun, I can't understand a channel doing the same. So I'm very happy that you've come in the 25th minute to me in a 40-minute program. I thought you'd forgotten about the Congress like the AAP and the BJP has.
It's nice to see the Congress accusing us of bias sometimes. Yes, go ahead.
Second, second, obviously, if AAP and BJP are not capable of conducting a civilized debate before your channel, as we have just seen, that's one clear ground why Delhi should not be entrusted to them but to the Congress. As far as your question about AAP is concerned, I think it's not a question of resigning. I think there's a vast difference between a resignation on a moral ground or a genuine martyrdom versus a consistent course of conduct by the AAP from the day they took charge. The feeling, the idiom, the gestures, the mood of the Delhi electorate was clear that AAP was a party which was waiting for an opportunity to run away. They were in an agitational mode, not prepared to govern, and it was very clear from day 5 that they were looking for an excuse to exit. I think there's a vast difference between that and what Lal Bahadur Shastri did or others could do, or for that matter Madhurao Scindia did when subsequently, an example forgotten, when he was Civil Aviation Minister. I think ultimately, Nidhi, as they say, we can all theorize, we'll know only on the 16th, but I think there's a very important point which is missed out. Yes, the electorate has voted with its feet and made its displeasure clear for the Congress in the assembly elections. But I think this has been good in a way for the interregnum. I think when they look back, and the Delhi electorate is very, very logical also, it is not emotive or irrational as we seem to think it is. They would have by now realized very clearly that in terms of solid figures, development, Delhi's growth rate, Delhi's human indicators are far ahead of many other states in India, including the great much taunted
in the
Gujarat.
assembly election results.
So therefore I think today the electorate of Delhi is firmly missing the good old days of Delhi governance by the Congress, which has done a lot in 10 years of, in 15 years of Sheila Dikshit's rule.
Harshvardhan, are they missing Sheila Dikshit already?
I think Mr. Singhvi is saying that Mrs. Dikshit's government had done so well. If she had done so well, and if the living standards of people had risen so well and so high, why was she and her party decimated so badly in the recently conducted elections? I think he has to analyze this, and I think in this election also, the parliamentary elections, they will be further decimated. He may not agree to my statement today, but he will certainly agree to it on 16th of May, when the results for the parliamentary elections will come.
Okay, let me get Santosh Desai in, because he's a keen Delhi watcher and a columnist, and he's in Mumbai tonight. Santosh Desai, what is your sense on the AAP factor in not just Delhi but beyond Delhi, in the NCR region? The opinion polls don't reflect that big success, but is it too early to say?
I think we've often been surprised by what happens in the polls after the opinion polls have kind of spoken. So I certainly would not be in a hurry to write off the AAP, which only recently performed extraordinarily well in Delhi. Having said that, I think there are two differences. One that has been pointed out, that there is a difference between the fact that this is Lok Sabha and therefore a different set of considerations will apply. That is true. So there is likely to be a change there. And the other is that I think the AAP has made some mistakes in the interim. I think certainly the decision to resign has not, whatever the reasons, has not been explained, has not been well enough. Therefore, the sense that in some ways it was an abdication is something that has gained some ground, and therefore it is going to affect their performance. Also, the other thing is that having the compulsions of moving out of Delhi and spreading themselves very thin nationally, more importantly diluting what they stood for, which is a fundamentally an anti-corruption plank and a sense of reinventing politics, which has got muddied in their national venture. And there is this sense of their picking out issues in order to sort of posture, and therefore there is, I think, some loss of a fundamental integrity that was perceived, and where a lot of people responded to. I think there is some dilution of that. So there are some reasons why both in Delhi and nationally there is a loss of momentum that I do see has taken place. But remember that when you talk about the increased upsurge in voting percentages, certainly the AAP can take credit for that phenomenon. I don't know how much of it will accrue to them, because this idea that we have a real choice, particularly where the AAP is contesting, I think is a very real idea that the AAP has been responsible for shaping, certainly to a substantial extent.